Paddy, first of all, thank you very much for giving us the honor and the opportunity to meet you. I know it's been a few busy days for you, and most of the media and the channels wanted to do this exclusive interview with you. So thanks for the time, for visiting beIN Sports, and for giving us this honor.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So this is the third edition of the Web Summit here in Qatar. What do you think was special in this edition, and what else we can see in the upcoming years here in Qatar?
Two great questions. When we came here first to Doha, we had a contract with the government that in the first year we would try and make it a 5,000 person event, and that by the fifth year it would be 12,000 people from all over the world. In the first year we surpassed 5,000, and this year we have more than 30,000 people from all over the world. So it's just been an incredible success and an incredible gathering of the entrepreneurs that are building the companies of the future. In many cases, companies you've never heard of, but companies that are going to change our world.
We saw the president of this country, Sheikh Tamim himself, coming yesterday. Do you think this gives maybe more exposure for the event, but it's also giving us the mentality of the leaders of this country?
Yeah, I think so. It's incredibly impressive. Having met with His Highness and His Excellency the Prime Minister as well, just how focused they are on technology, on positioning the country for the future, and of supporting a new generation of engineers and entrepreneurs emerging from the many fantastic universities here. And in addition to that, the willingness to attract great entrepreneurs, investors and engineers from not just the region but from all over the world, and opening the doors to them to start companies, build offices in Doha, I think says an awful lot about them and about the country.
I think as an athlete, you know how important technology is in sports world these days. What do you think attendees can see and learn when it comes to sports and technology from this event?
Oh, it's a fantastic question. I just met literally moments ago with the CEO of Aura, the Aura Ring, and we were talking about the Australian Open and how Alcaraz was wearing a device, but the sort
of... He was wearing Whoop.
He was wearing Whoop, yes. He was wearing Whoop, but the referee asked him to remove it. And I think that tells you an awful lot about technology and sport. They've become so integrated, and everybody from the number one tennis player in the world to ordinary people who are just have a hobby, it could be jogging, it could be playing paddle. Technology and sport are completely connected. Even watching sport these days is as much about the data and the use of technology, whether it's VAR in football, whether it's line calling in tennis. They're sort of entirely inseparable.
So I know you play tennis and you're taking tennis seriously. You've jumped from top 800 to top 15 in November 2025. Lots of people might ask why, with your wealth, with your success, would sweat and take this effort and concentration in a sport that is not easy mentally?
Sure, yeah. I think tennis is... It's one part physical, but it's also another. The biggest component is probably mental. And I just love the idea that whatever I might have done in business or anything else in life, you go on a tennis court and you face the possibility that you're going to lose. And that the other guys, they don't care about what you've achieved in life, family, business. They're there to beat you. And for me, I just love the fear and the challenge of trying to win. And oftentimes, it's not that you're trying to beat the two other people or the other person on the other side of the net. You're also fighting your own mind, the nervousness, the anxiety of being in a position where it's in tennis, it's almost all you. There's no 11 other people on the field or whatever the case may be. And I like the fear, and I get scared. Like before every match, I am nervous.
There's always pressure in tennis.
There's always pressure, whether it's just in your own mind and nobody else cares, it'll manifest. And there are moments in a match as well. A tennis match it's a roller coaster. it's never over until essentially the final point of the match. You're not playing against a clock. So in some ways you're playing against your own mind, and I love that challenge of trying to fight for every point and of trying to overcome your own sort of insecurities in life.
We're both born in the same year, 1983.
Yeah.
And mentioning tennis, I play paddle semi-professionally, you play tennis professionally. And I know, for example, Ronaldo, the phenomenon, plays tennis and he loves tennis. Why tennis, although it's technical and it's a difficult sport?
It is, but I think watching tennis for me, the physicality of the sport, I think for a long time, or at some level, people think tennis is a gentleman's sport, but it really is not. It is so physical. So to watch Alcaraz and Djokovic play, or on the women's side, Sabalenka and many other female tennis players, it's just, I don't know, it's an incredible spectacle. It's like football at the highest levels. Watching Ronaldo or Messi play, it's not just the theatre, it's seeing human beings perform at the highest possible level. That's what I find so attractive about tennis. Watching Djokovic, who will be here next week in Doha, this is one of the greatest athletes ever. And I think in tennis, you really are dealing with some of the best athletes in the world, and so watching them perform on court it's a form of magic. You're seeing human beings perform at the highest possible elite level.
It's interesting you mentioned Novak. We saw him playing a massive match in the semi-final against Sinner, winning in 5 sets, and then less than 48 hours he was playing the final. We have another fantastic example who's Cristiano Ronaldo playing at the age of 40 and chasing his 1,000 goal. Do you think technology played a role in improving the recovery for athletes in this level to continue competing
Huge.
at this level?
I think technology is everything. I think Novak in particular, Cristiano, they're all using every available piece of data to monitor their body, their performance, and to decide what they need to put into their bodies, how much sleep they need to have. And it's technology, I think, that has enabled them to continue their careers at the highest level. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal what Cristiano Ronaldo has achieved at this age, and what Novak is doing at almost 39 years of age is it blows my mind. I play on the senior tour, which is for over 40s, and like none of us are at the level of Novak. No tennis player has ever been at this level at nearly 39 years of age. It's phenomenal. I can't wait to hear some of the interviews next week when he's in Doha playing, just to get into his mind, to understand what was happening at the Australian Open, what was he thinking on court. It's a remarkable achievement to make the final of a Grand Slam at almost 39 years of age.
So you mentioned the Alcaraz Whoop story. We know that Ronaldo is also using and promoting Whoop. And we know that lots of these top-level athletes started investing in technology, and some of them became entrepreneurs either during or after their career. What do you think this level of athletes could bring to business world, to entrepreneurs and to technology?
Yeah, well, I think to be a professional athlete, a tennis player, as you know, you were a professional, tennis player, it requires immense amount of discipline, dedication, focus, and I think in business nothing comes easy, and often in life, I just know from my friends, they go to school, they go to university, they've never had to really face adversity. Whereas as a tennis player, your outcome most weeks you play a tournament is you're going to lose. But in life, many people, they're kind of quite comfortable. Their parents ensure that they're protected. They don't suffer that feeling of loss. And I think as a sports person, you're very used to dealing not just with the challenge and adversity, but you become very used to processing when things go wrong and you lose. And it can include the feeling of losing, being in a match and realizing...
And you take risk.
And you take risk.
Entrepreneurs take risk, but also tennis players, they sometimes go full power in the second set, for example.
Yes, yeah. Tell me about it. I try all the time. And Yeah, I think sports people have a lot in common with entrepreneurs, and that's why you see a lot of sports people transferring into business after their careers. There are certainly transferable skills, and I have kids now, and I try and encourage them to, I don't want them to be tennis players per se, but I try and encourage them to play sport, partly because I want them to experience not winning, but dealing with losing, which in real life, things don't always go your way. And I think it's really important as a kid to build up the muscle memory of things didn't go your way today. How are you going to process it, wake up tomorrow morning and figure out how you're going to get better?
So mentioning tennis, Qatar is hosting the WTA and then the ATP during this month. And Qatar has been hosting the ATP since 1993. And they had the World Cup, they had different high-level competitions, F1. As a European entrepreneur or businessman, how do you see Qatar when it comes to sports events and hosting?
Well, I've never been in a country in the world that is better equipped, more sophisticated and professional at hosting events. And not just sports events, by the way, business events. I think my experience dealing with the government and all the associated agencies, state bodies, as well as the venues, is unparalleled. No country of this size in the world has hosted bigger events. None, zero, not even close. And I think that's a very unique skill set that Qatar has built up and should be proud of. And I can only speak, at least on my experience, our experience running Web Summit here compared to South America, North America, Europe, and Asia is unparalleled. For me, this is the greatest place in the world, certainly to host business events.
And this is the question anyone might ask: why Doha? Why not Silicon Valley or Paris or London or Barcelona?
That's a great question. I think technology is globalizing. It's become a global phenomenon. For many years, when people thought of innovation and technology, they just thought, oh, that's happening in Silicon Valley. But increasingly, with the rise of China, India, the Middle East, the innovation is globalizing. And when you look at the location of Doha on the map and the connectivity, the airline connectivity, in particular because of Qatar Airways, it is just such a perfect location to host a global gathering of innovators, of investors, engineers, entrepreneurs, you name it. And I think that's part of the reason that Web Summit has been so successful here in such a short time.
So my last question is maybe a recommendation that you can give to people watching beIN Sports.
Yeah.
We see what's happening in the world, the fluctuation in silver and gold in these days. What can you tell entrepreneurs? We know that usually entrepreneurship has high risk, high return.
Yeah.
What can you tell them?
Well, I think it's an incredibly exciting time because for decades, if not centuries, the structure of the world was in a very sort of consistent form. There was, I would
Classic.
call it, there was Western domination of the world. I'm Irish, which is you could argue is an anomaly in Europe in that we were a colony of the British, and sometimes how the Irish see the world is maybe a little bit different. But whilst the world was quite rigid in how it was structured and how power, economic and technological was distributed for decades, if not centuries, is all of a sudden up in the air. And so if you're an entrepreneur, I think there are more opportunities now as the whole structure of the world is shifting from a unipolar world to a multipolar world. It's like, what a time to be alive. Of course, there will be huge challenges, but there will also be opportunities that are unprecedented because the world is just fundamentally changing, moving into a multipolar world. And for entrepreneurs, that's a moment of opportunity, whether you're coming from Doha, from the Middle East more generally, or anywhere else in the world.
Paddy, thank you very much for being with us here at the beIN Sports department in this fantastic event. Congratulations for the achievement, both in Web Summit and also in tennis. And hopefully, would love to see you continuing more success in tennis and also in your personal life. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.